This is Courage Unlimited. I'm Chad Ikes, back with another video. This one I really hadn't planned on making, but I watched a video, like just finished a 50 some odd minute video on YouTube. And I'll try to put the link underneath because I think it was an awesome video, man. I'm really impressed with what the teacher did and the kids, and the whole thing was just super cool. What it was is it was a teacher, and I think it was a Midwest school in somewhere. I don't even remember. But he came with the idea of the Confederate flag. Do you think that, where do you stand on the Confederate flag? Should they be able to fly it? Shouldn't they be able to fly it? Should they get rid of it? But he brought all the kids together and he filmed it and had microphones and he kept it very civil. There was definitely some emotions, and I can see where there's some emotions in that. But had everybody kind of talk, and he kept it pretty cool where everybody could give their opinions, and when it started getting a little heated, he calmed it down. And I think that's more of what we need in this country, and that's part of what this channel is about, is having the courage to talk about these things and to try to see and understand both sides. But I'll give a little bit of my take on the Confederate flag, and then I'll give what I think that as a society we are becoming too passive, and we're spending too much time worrying about how everyone feels and about the squeaky wheel, not thinking about the society as a whole. So with the Confederate flag, I spent most of my life growing up in Missouri. I lived in Texas for a little while. I did live in Nevada when I was younger for a little while, which is where I'm back at now. I have family that lived in just outside Birmingham, actually Calera, and I used to go there at least once a year and spend a week there for Thanksgiving. I had cousins, second cousins, a lot of different family down there. A couple of my uncles had lived down there for quite a while. Personally, I don't have a Confederate flag. I don't fly a Confederate flag. I could really, personally for me, I don't ever plan on having a Confederate flag. I don't really care. I'm not from the South. I would have no reason to have one or fly one. My personal feeling is, though, that it's okay. And I feel that it's okay because everyone that has a Confederate flag or flies a Confederate flag, I don't know why they're flying that flag. I would have to stop and ask them, hey, why do you have that flag? If it's a sticker in their car, why do you have that sticker in your car? I grew up watching Dukes of Hazzard with it on the General Lee. To me, and let me explain this. To me, I never once thought of the Confederate flag as promoting slavery or racism. That flag has been part of the South ever since slavery was ended, which was quite a long time ago now. I don't associate it with slavery in any way. Now, this doesn't mean that other people don't associate it with slavery. There's a lot of people that are offended by it and do associate it with slavery. And I understand that too. I understand where the flag came from and what it stood for. This is a very complicated subject, at least in my mind. For some people, it's not. They go, this was what the flag stood for. This is bad. Okay, well, if it was so bad, why has it been going on so long? Like, if it was so bad and that's exactly what it meant, why didn't we end that flag right when we ended slavery? So for me, there's nothing. It's a symbol of the Southern lifestyle. It's a symbol of Southern rock. It's a symbol of big breakfast with grits and biscuits and gravy and big dinners. It's a symbol of having a large family and keeping close to that family and actually knowing your second and third generation cousins. It's a lifestyle of a lot of outdoors. It's a lifestyle of hunting. It's it's just the southern lifestyle. It's, I mean, I kind of associate blues a little bit because the blues started in the South with that flag, and that's just what it always meant to me. It meant South. It means you're flying a flag, you're probably from the South. And I don't even know that, but I mean, that's generally would have been my thought. And if I really cared, I would go, hey, dude, what do you fly that flag for? I mean, if it really bothered me, especially if it offended me and I saw a person with it, I'd be like, hey, why do you fly that flag? So that way I know what it means to them. So I guess I should say right now, and I think if you watch my videos, you know this, like slavery is horrible. Slavery and racism are bad. There's no way in hell anyone's ever going to convince me that there's anything good about slavery or racism. I don't care what colors the slaves were. It's bad. Nobody deserves to own anybody, period. I think judging people based on their color, their weight, their gender, whether they wear glasses, their beard, their clothes, like, you shouldn't judge people by the cover of the book. You should read the book and then make a judgment. That's what I believe. So back to okay, so we're stuck. Some people want to fly the flag, some people are offended by the flag. At this point, I take this to, okay, it's a symbol. The American flag is a symbol. And even what some of the kids brought up, which I thought was a very valid point, is like a lot of bad things have happened under the American flag or under the various versions of the American flag. Well, if we're going to get rid of the Confederate flag because there was slavery under that flag, then don't we need to also get rid of the American flag? I mean, I think you can argue it, but I think there's some logic to that statement. And then I want to go back to like the swastika. People always people like to bring up, well, you shouldn't fly a Nazi flag. Okay, well, I mean, I agree. The Nazi flag with the red, the black, and that is a German Hitler army military flag. I think you'd be hard pressed to find something about that exact flag that is good. So should you be able to fly it? As much as I would hate to see anyone flying that flag, yes. I think you should be able to if you want to. And that's the same thing about the Confederate flag. I think if you want to be a racist, I don't like you. I don't want to be associated with you. I don't want nothing to do with you. But this is America. I mean, we have all these 900 religions, and everybody can be part of all these different religions, and we can all live together. Okay, like now if you're a racist and you're doing racist stuff and you're trying to enslave someone, our country should stand the hell up and you should go to jail, like, because that stuff's against the law. But if you want to have those feelings, this is America. And what I would go to the point of, now we're talking about, should we stop everything that offends everybody? I personally am offended by the athletes that kneel during the American anthem. I think it's disrespectful to the military and the people that have fought for this country. Now, I have actually heard military people that go, I don't care. And they're not offended at all. And I guess I don't care. I understand their point. I understand why they're doing it. If they want to do it, that's fine. I don't agree with it. I think they could do other things and better ways of doing that. And it was funny, like in the video, some of the people that were against the Confederate flag said the same thing. I think if it's about Southern heritage, then there's other ways to show that. Okay, well, then on the same note, then there's other ways to show without kneeling at the game. And I'm not talking about, I mean, I know like Kaepernick supposedly, from what I understand, he did it the first time because he thinks that the police are after black people and they're hurting black people. And he did it for that reason, which is a whole other subject. So I think he should have every right in America to do that. And I think he should have every right in America to say his feelings. At the same time, I should have a right to go, I think you could do that better. I think there's a better way to come across and say that. You are a professional athlete with avenues beyond the average person to express your feelings and to reach lots and lots of people. I mean, this video, I'm going to reach 10 people if I'm lucky. I'm not a big professional athlete. If he did one YouTube video, he'd probably get a million hits. So I think he had better avenues to do that. But that's not the point. The point is, there are people that were offended by that. So should he not be allowed to do that then if they're not allowed to fly a Confederate flag? You know, what was it? FUBU, the clothing line, for us, by us. You know, that once people figured out what it meant, there was people that were offended by that. You know, does it mean they shouldn't be allowed to do that because somebody got their freaking feelings hurt? Hey, whatever. They got a company. They're making lots of money. If you watch my other two videos, they should be taxed more because they're making lots of money, which I don't agree with. So what we're talking about, to me, this doesn't boil down to being offensive or not being offensive. This boils down to freedoms. If we're going to stop people from doing things that offend other people, we're eventually going to have nothing. If you've ever watched the first South Park Christmas episode, perfect example of this, in a hysterical way. People are always going to be offended. Like, there's going to be someone that's going to be offended. I learned this in powerlifting because when we compete, we have judges. For a while, the judging was getting pretty lenient. And even when it wasn't getting pretty lenient, you'd post a video of your meet. There would always be somebody, he didn't get that lift. That squat wasn't deep enough. He didn't pause that bench long enough. Didn't really lock his knees out on that deadlift. I mean, there's always going to be somebody that's offended or doesn't like what you put out no matter what it is. I mean, people are saying that they don't want to do the Pledge of Allegiance because it talks about God, and they're offended because they have a different God. Well, this country was started on that basis and that principle. But even though this country was started on Christianity, we wanted it to be free. We wanted people to be free to be whatever religion they wanted to be. And isn't that what's part of this country? I really fear that a lot of people are not having the courage to stand up and say what they believe, and a lot of people are not having the courage to fight for those freedoms anymore. And if we don't fight for those freedoms, we're going to lose them. And that, to me, that would be so horrible, to lose the freedoms, the freedom to say what I want, to think what I want, to wear what I want, to do what I want. You know, there's certain religions that have beards, certain religions that are clean shaven. At least I don't know about clean shaven. I don't know. What I'm saying is different things. Like the Amish people don't believe you should wear those bright colors. So are there some Amish that are offended by people that wear bright colors? Okay, should we stop all wearing bright colors? And this probably, man, I could see where all these arguments seem ridiculous. I can understand that. You know, people have to start saying what they feel. People have to have the courage to stand up and go, listen, just because these people are offended doesn't mean we need to change everything. If one person's offended, if two people are offended, if 50% of the population is offended by this one thing, doesn't mean we get rid of it. Is it hurting anyone to fly that flag? It's hurting feelings. And you know what? You know who's in charge of your feelings? You are. Only you are in charge of your feelings. No one can actually make you feel anything. He flew a flag. You let that flag be offended to you. Be offending to you. And now I want to talk about the power. These are inanimate objects, and we're giving them power. They have no power. if you look at the swastika, the actual thing, that was around way longer than Hitler, and it always had positive connotations to it. It was used in various religious aspects. I think even in the Egyptian, I think the Egyptians even had one at one point. Still to this day, some of the Hindu religion or offshoots of the Hindu religion still use that, the swastika symbol, and it has this very positive thing to it. Hitler chose this for his craziness, and now we associate that symbol with him instead of choosing to associate that symbol with what it had represented before then and the positive things that it still represents now. My point being is that we have control how we want to see these things. And what if you see a guy walking around and, oh, he's got a swastika tattoo, that guy's racist and blah, 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 blah. Well, statistically, you're probably right. But you don't know that. What if the dude's a Hindu priest? Like, you don't know why he has that tattoo. You don't know what that tattoo means to him. You don't know what that symbol means to him. Granted, if you're associating the whole color in the flag with the Nazi flag, I don't know what else. Tell me if that flag associates with something else. Let me know, because I associate it with Nazis. And they didn't do anything good for anybody. I want to tell a story. I was at a bar one time drinking with a couple buddies of mine, and I have a tattoo down one leg that says strength and a tattoo down the other leg that says power. And this girl comes up to me and starts ripping my shit about how physical strength isn't everything and being strong isn't the most important thing in the world, and she's offended that I had these tattoos and that I'm big and strong and like I think that's so important and blah 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 blah, and just going off. And I very calmly said to her, I go, listen, if you actually want to talk about this, we can step outside where I can hear you, and where I can hear you clear and you can hear me, and we can actually talk about this. But if you're coming up here judging me based on a tattoo that you know nothing about, then just walk the hell away. And she said, okay, and we went outside, and I had to explain to her what these tattoos actually mean to me, which had nothing to do with what she actually thought they meant. She didn't know that one of the people I think is the strongest men in the world was John Merrick. John Merrick happened to be the Elephant Man. And depending on what story you read or the different variations, but to me, that was a guy that got dealt some of the worst hands, the worst cards you could have ever been dealt. And from the stuff that I read and researched, he continued to go on. He continued to live his life, and he continued to try to find good things in life. And he tried to be positive and live the best life that he could, despite the cards that he was dealt. And that is one of the strongest men in the world in my mind. Yes, I like physical power, physical strength, but the mind controls the body. If you don't have mental strength, you're never going to have that physical strength. Like everything, they're entangled together. So I'm just as into the physical strength as I am the mental strength. To me, Stephen Hawking is one of the most impressive people on this planet, along with Einstein. Those guys were strong. Their brains, their intelligence level was insane. It's not just about physical strength to me. And that's a perfect example of people judging based on what they see and not actually finding out, because something means something to them doesn't mean it means that to everyone else. Now, the Confederate flag is a little bit of a different story still because of the history of that flag. But like for me, slavery was over a long-ass time ago. The question of how much racism still goes on in life, I will talk. I enjoy talking about and trying to understand different perspectives. Yes, that flag was under part of slavery, but at that same note, a lot of stuff that happened today had bad shit happen under it. yet we chose to still see it as a positive symbol, and we chose to look at the positive aspects of that. The people that I know from the South, the family that I have in the South, it wasn't about racism. That flag was about, hey, we're from the South. We're proud of our heritage, not meaning, I mean, I'm proud to be an American. It doesn't mean I'm glad we gave smallpox blankets to the Indians, which we did. I'm not proud of that part of it. I'm proud of the positive stuff that our country did. I mean, if you live in a glass house, don't throw stones. I mean, who in their life has never done anything they wish that they would have done differently? We've all done dumb stuff. We're humans. We've all offended people. We've all made someone sad. That's part of life. I correct that. We've never made anyone feel anything. We've done things that other people chose to feel bad about. And so I wish that at those times, if I said stuff when I was a kid that offended other people, I wish I would have been smarter and chose a better way to express myself. But that's life. That's life. That's growing up. As you get older, you try to find new things to get around this. All right, guys. Sorry, another long video. Please like this channel, subscribe to this channel, comment on this channel, share this channel. I would love to eventually expand this to some live type deals where people can comment live and we can respond and kind of see where everybody goes on these issues, because I know one thing's for sure. If we don't talk about this stuff, if we don't come together on this stuff, if we don't try to find some sort of middle grounds, it's just going to get worse. We have to have the courage to meet and talk and try our best to understand and try our best to put our feelings to the side and find the reality and the logic in all these problems that we're having today. All right, guys, I'm out. Goodbye. Have a great day. Talk to you later.